Hey everyone, so today is Thursday, October 17th. I am 1 month post-op. Everything is healing up nicely. I got all my drains out, my incisions are looking good. I've started kind of the continuation of the reconstructive process. Had several doctor's appointments and whatnot since we last spoke. So bear with me. I'm going to go through it all real quick. Hopefully as fast as I can, just so you don't have to stay on here as long. But if you do have questions, feel free to ask away because I'm happy to help. So we last spoke September 28th, and the prelim pathology came back, said it was a successful surgery, meaning there was good margins removed with the tumor. They still couldn't figure out if the tumor was in the lymph node or beside the lymph node, whatever. So we had to wait for like the more extensive report. So on the 2nd of October, I went to go see my oncologist, and he informed me that pathology was kind of having a hard time. My tumor was looking like it was more along the lines of melanoma cancer, not breast cancer. Well, that's shocking. How can this be? What is going on? Like, how are we going to figure this out for sure? What does this mean for the future? Well, my oncologist opted for additional testing, so that hadn't come in yet. And then we decided we were going to get a second opinion. So we sent everything to Cleveland Clinic. They're supposedly one of the best in the nation, and so sounds like a good plan. Let's do it. So in the meantime, we were thinking, like, what are some possibilities for the future? So my tumor did not completely die. Some of it did. So chemo had like a little bit to do with that. I mean, like a little bit of success, but mostly not, which was weird. It was really shocking for my oncologist. He didn't quite get how could that be. You know, typically this type of cancer equals this kind of treatment success. Not in my case. So so there was this chance, you know, it could be melanoma or breast cancer. So the way I'm understanding it, they are similar in genetic makeup. So I just think of like a circle graph, like here's melanoma, here's breast cancer. They each have their own attributes, but in a circle graph, they kind of overlap a little bit. So they each have their own, but then they also have the same. Like in the middle, they have some criteria that could be either or. So that's kind of how I envision it being. So getting more tests, trying to figure this out. So since the tumor didn't fully die, my oncologist wanted me to do what's called immunotherapy, which basically is going to amp up my immune system. And if there's any straggler cells anywhere, ideally it will kill those cells because my immune system's going to be like on steroids, not really, but kind of, and just killing everything. So it goes through my port like chemo, but I do not have the side effects like chemo. So about 90% of people don't even have any side effects. So it's pretty easy. It's only about 30 minutes long. I will have to do it every 3 weeks for a year. So that equates to about 13 sessions of treatment. I may still have to do radiation, not really for sure. And just kind of going from there. So the next day was my surgeon appointment. She said everything was great, and she had just got my cancer ID test back. With 96% certainty, I had melanoma cancer, and a 96% probability that I had melanoma cancer, and 95% certainty that I did not have breast cancer. Those are really high odds, especially when my doctor the day before had said, you know, typically the results come back like 70%, probability, 80%, I'm at 96% probability of having melanoma. So that was devastating to me. I'm just like, what in the world? Like, how could this be so wrong? I mean, it makes perfect sense why nothing was working, like the chemo didn't work like it should on my tumor, why they couldn't find any answers of a source and this and that and whatever. So again, with melanoma and breast cancer being similar, the first drug, the Red Devil, that's a breast cancer drug. The second drug that I had was Taxol, and it's a melanoma or breast cancer drug. So essentially I had half of a chemo treatment, proper chemo treatment, therefore killing some of my tumor with the correct medicine. So that was just a real kick in the pants, and I'm just thinking, what in that? I mean, this is absolutely bananas. Like, I can't even like wrap my head around this at this point in time. So anyway, then we moved on, and one of my drain tubes could come out. Well, through all this mess, then the wrong one got removed, which, go figure. I mean, this day just keeps getting better. So luckily, it was close to being removed, but it just wasn't quite. I'm sorry, I have the yawns today. It was close to being able to be removed, but it wasn't quite there yet. So I just had to monitor it and make sure I didn't swell up too much with extra fluid. I didn't. Things were fine. No big deal. So just over 2 weeks, and I got my first drain out. Upwards of 3 weeks, I got the next drain out. And then just over 3 weeks, I got my last drain out. So my last drain I had for 23 days. Which was kind of discouraging just because I thought I was going to be able to get them out in a week or two, but my body just wouldn't stop producing this liquid. But my plastic surgeon had said sometimes that happens because, you know, you used to have a breast there, you had breast tissue, now your body's just trying to fill up that area, and it just won't slow down until I got my first fill, and then a couple days later it was out. So it just needed a little bit more stuff in that particular area for my body to be like, okay, we can stop with the draining now. So that was great. Got that out. At this time, my plastic surgeon had heard the news that I had had melanoma, so he checked me out. Didn't find any moles that like were screaming melanoma by any means, but there was a few that were kind of questionable. At this point in time, I'm like, whatever, take them. So we scheduled for today to get those removed. And then my regular MD, I spoke with her and made sure she was up to date on kind of everything that was going on. And so she referred me to a dermatologist. So I will be going there next week, I believe, for them just to check me out. Well, now, Monday, I finally got the results back from Cincinnati, and they confirmed that it was melanoma. They didn't do individual reports on the original biopsy and then what they took out in surgery. They just kind of did as a cumulative, both specimen show to be melanoma, and somehow they can do this crazy testing, and so they figure out that it's melanoma, lymph node only, no primary. So it's only in the lymph node. My body most likely fought off the melanoma cancer, except for one little cell got away and got trapped in my lymph node. So that's kind of the like thought process. But my luck is pretty stellar. So we decided we're just gonna go ahead and continue on. Just kind of extra insurance policies just in case things, just to kind of figure out what, and you know, just not figuring anything out, just preventing anything else from happening, basically. So I had to reschedule my mole removal for today because I got scheduled for a PET scan. So PET scans are about 2 hours long. They just do head to toe, and it can light up. Any cancer will light up. I had never had a PET scan before because apparently breast cancer does not show up very well in a PET scan, so they do MRI for that. So for 24 hours prior to my appointment, I had to follow this crazy diet, high protein, high water intake, no carbs, no sugar, no fruit, like nothing. So essentially I could have like hard cheese, greens, and eggs. Well, before my cutoff time, I kind of overindulged and just, it was my last meal. I'm like, I must eat everything. So I was just filling my face with all the carbs and I had a soda and just stuff that, you know, normally it doesn't really bother me. I don't drink soda all that often. But yesterday I'm like, I'm gonna have me a soda. Because if you tell me I can't have something, then odds are I'm gonna eat it all. I'm very bad in the diet spectrum of things. So anyway, I had all that, and so I was pretty full. I had lunch, and then I had a dentist appointment, and then after my dentist appointment, I had a little bit of time before my cutoff, so I went ahead and just shoved the rest of it in my face. And so yesterday I wasn't too hungry like for dinner or anything, so I just had some hard-boiled eggs. And then today I had scrambled eggs for breakfast. And so 6 hours prior, all I can have is water. So I'm done eating now for a while. But the scan is 2 hours, and then after that I'll be kind of high radiation, and so they don't want me to be around my kid, which is sad. She has to be kind of like 6 feet away. So I had to warn her about that, you know, once I leave for my doctor's appointment, when I come back, I can't like hug on you and kiss you and stuff like that. So she's pretty good at understanding, but I just let her know that, you know, Granny's going to be here my husband works today, so Granny's going to be here to put her to bed. I won't be able to kiss her goodnight, but I'll be able to kiss her in the morning, and things will be fine. No big deal. And so she's kind of like, well, that's silly. But she's a good sport about it, and doesn't give me too much grief, because that would make me sad. So anyway, PET scan today, have my moles removed, start immunotherapy at some point. I still may have radiation. I'm getting an appointment set up for a radiation doctor to see what they have to say. The good thing about melanoma radiation as opposed to breast cancer radiation, I can still continue my reconstructive process during radiation. Woo! Yes. Because these expanders are so uncomfortable. It is the worst part of this whole ordeal. So they are underneath my muscle. So as they expand, my muscle is getting stretched out as well, my pec muscles. So while that sounds cool, and if I was a dude, I'd have some cool pec muscles, it's really painful, uncomfortable. Yeah, I wouldn't really say painful, I guess, but uncomfortable. By the end of the day, I'm just spent. They're like heavy. My chest is heavy, and it like spazzes, and just all of the above. It's just not even pleasant. So I'm anticipating a couple more fills, call it a day. And then I have to wait a month in order to get my implants. And so a couple more weeks, so about a month and a half maybe-ish, I can have surgery. Now granted, I've only had one fill, and maybe kind of after surgery and everything like that, things are kind of taming down a little bit. And maybe my next fill won't be as bad, but if it's the same, then yeah, I'm probably only gonna do like a couple more and just be like, over it, let's move on. So that's, I guess, all I kind of know at this point. I have to just basically start all over with everything, you know, all my scans and figuring stuff out and doing this just in case and doing that just in case. And my oncologist is just being very good to me right now, which is great. I don't know. I'm just at a loss I can't believe pathology would make such a mistake and not note it if they had any hesitation in my original diagnosis. It should have been noted. And I just feel like the ball was dropped somewhere, but it is what it is. I can't like dwell on it because I still have this extra fight that I have to get through. So that's all I've got, I guess, for now. I will keep you updated as I kind of figure more things out. But just keep me in your prayers and help me keep fighting the fight. And we're kind of switching. Pink is my favorite color, but Melanoma's color is black. So people message me and I always put a pink heart. Well, I'm probably going to be switching to black I don't want to look Debbie Downer, but it's now my color. So I've got my cool ring with my pink and black, and my cousin got me. It's very fitting. And we're just gonna keep fighting it and do what we need to do. So that's all I've got. If you have questions, please ask, and we will talk again soon. So have a good one. Bye-bye.